July 21st, 2025. So call the meeting order at 7 o'clock p.m. Clerk is absent unfortunately tonight, so we can fill in and ask you to call over now, please.
Denman.
Here.
Garrett Steers.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Lawrence.
Here.
Gary Mathers.
Here.
Myra Mathers.
Here.
Piper.
Here.
Okay, all trustees in attendance, thank you. Now, if everyone would please stand and join me in saying the pledge of allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the agenda before us tonight. Any changes, additions, revisions? Not, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. So moved.
The second.
A motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee Denman to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Pages 3 through 5 is our regular meeting minutes from 7/7/2025.
I'll make a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes at 7/07/2025 as presented.
Second.
Motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee M. Mathers to approve the regularly scheduled minutes of 7/7/2025 as presented. Discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed say no. Motion carries. 13. Totals as presented are $232,731.74. $232,731.74. Any questions or comments on the bills?
I do have a couple. Page 13, about halfway down, it says emergency vehicle products for $5,372.25.
13 emergency vehicle products. New equipment.
I don't know what that was.
It is.
That is when they, added equipment to one of the vehicles and took it out of the old, and took the product out of the old Tahoe. All the equipment in that,
So it's one of the police vehicles.
it's two of them actually.
And they took old out and then put new in?
Took old out of the Tahoe and added new into one of the old ones, or into one of the new vehicles.
Okay. Kathy?
Page 17, RC lawn care. I see there's ordinance mowing for $240, and then there's two miscellaneous. Can you tell me what the miscellaneous ones are for?
There are properties,
Village owned property?
yep.
Maybe you could put that in the description, so. Instead of just miscellaneous. Page 18, the top truck and trailer specialties for $2,539. 37, says arts and outside.
18,
Very hot.
very first one.
Oh.
That one is. Parts for one of the, let's see, down at the DPW. For one of the, trying to see what vehicle it was for. It's a spinner. The front end loader? Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're repairing some stuff on the front end loader. I don't have anything else.
I'm sorry.
I don't have anything else.
Anyone else with questions? Any comments? Okay, again, the total amount was $232,731.70.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills in amount of $232, $232,731.74.
Okay, motion by trustee Piper, seconded by trustee Mathers. Pay the bills in the amount of $232,731.74. Any other comments? Okay, Mark, you call roll, please.
Steers.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Gary Mathers.
Yes.
Myra Mathers.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Denman.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, now we're to the point of public comment. And as always, we ask that if you have a comment for council, please go to the podium, turn around, if you're physically able.
I'm not talking, I'm just moving the podium.
Ask that you keep your comments to a maximum length of 3 minutes.
That top will go. That top will go off.
And also, as always, ask that during the meeting itself, please try to refrain from talking to neighbors, because that is a little bit unsettling to hear conversations in 2 or 3 places.
Hello. So my name is Max Kuhn. I've had the honor and privilege of working with most of you, and I've gotten to know most of you, so this is easy for me to come and speak to you guys today. I'm not coming in here today as a police officer. I'm coming here to you as a person that lives in this county and this district to announce that I'm running for state representative next year against Steve Carra on the Republican Party. I've been part of this community for the last 8 years. I moved here with no intention of ever doing anything like this. I came here purely to be a police officer. And over the years I've lived here, I've had the opportunities to not only work as a police officer, but work on our Township Planning Commission and work as a trustee for our Constantine Township. Over these years, I've had a lot of thoughts and feelings towards how I think things can be done. And watching closely how the Village of Constantine has been able to do things when it comes to preparing and building a wastewater treatment plant and getting a fire station ready to be built. And then also watching how our township and other local townships run things, I'm seeing that there's a lot more issues that arise. And after working with a lot of people and speaking to a lot of people, it's come down to the fact that I don't feel like we as people of our district are being heard. We're being listened to, but we're not being heard. And so I feel I can bring with the skills I have as not only a police officer, but the skills I have as running small businesses. I have skills actually working at the state capitol for a state senator back before I became a police officer. So I do have the knowledge, experience, and the leadership to be able to take on that role. And I feel like it is that time for me to step up to that instead of waiting for somebody else that I think can do a good job. So I'm just here today to introduce myself and to inform you all that I am running, and I would love to get to speak to each and every one of you, maybe sit down and have a coffee, and ask you on what your thoughts and feelings are about what's going on in your community, in your village, and what you think can be done for the better. I'll be happy to come by at another time where I can speak longer, but I understand I only have 3 minutes today. So again, I'm very happy for the short amount of time, but as you all know me. Most of you know me. And so I hope through the time that we got to know each other, you know the type of person I am. And my intention is to not only serve my community, which I've been doing for the last 8 years, but it's to now do more in a way of serving. My ambition and my views and my loyalty are to these people, to us. I live here, my family lives here, I brought my wife here, and I brought my son here. And so we are a part of this community just as all of you are. And so I want to continue working to help build that community. So again, I thank you, and I'll leave some cards here for you all, and hopefully I can come back and talk a little bit longer about my views, my vision, and my overall goal if I were to have the honor of being blessed as your state representative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, 14 seconds left.
Mr. Honey says it's been the best village manager that I've ever worked with.
I love them.
Well, good luck, Max. We've had the opportunity to work together on the township board, and Max is always ready, prepared, and a big addition to that board as well, so good luck. Anyone else like to speak to council tonight?
Rebecca Shank, 385 South Washington Street. I primarily would like to say thank you for the speed reader that showed up on 4th Street this week. Had a conversation with a neighbor today. It was the quietest, nicest time we've had in a very long time. Whether we actually slowed anybody down or just chased them onto another street, we don't know, but it was appreciated. I had kind of a interrupted night last night. I can't remember whether it was 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. I got up and looked out the window, and there were people in my backyard with flashlights tearing around. And should I dial the police or what? I just banged on the window hard, and they took off faster than a car down south on White Pigeon Street. So hopefully they won't be back. But I did have a visit with one of the policemen today over it, and I am thankful and appreciative of our police department here in Constantine. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else tonight? Okay. Moving on, item number 6 on the agenda is visitor presentations. We've had no visitors at this point, do we? Building under older business. Okay. Item 7, consent agenda. Any comments, questions for any of the items on the consent agenda?
I have a question, Mayor. I have a request not to have any more forced main breaks on Gleason Road, please. You could just, not bad at all.
Not unless you adopt an ordinance
accept the consent agendas as they are presented.
Is the creamery off the North Main?
Yes.
Yeah, we won't have it more. Hopefully.
And we do have a motion on the floor to accept the consent agenda as presented. Trustee Lawrence,
I'll support that.
second by Kayla Denman. Any questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, please say yes. Yes. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Unfinished business, page 24, wastewater treatment plant update.
You have the information that I have, but what I will tell you is that I think it was Friday, they started pumping sewer into our treatment plant, not for treatment. Just to make sure that that was working. It's been sent on to Three Rivers for testing and for billing. Today, they introduced the media that would create bacteria for the purpose, of course, of eventually operating out of that treatment plant. The media, the bacteria will take probably between, and if Mike will confirm, but I don't know if that's your area of expertise, the bacteria will take 3 to 6 weeks to grow, after which we will be treating our own sewage and be off the force main. I would like to think that will happen by the end of August. That might be a little bit optimistic, but at very latest, early in September, unless there are issues.
Looking forward to it.
So am I. It's a race against time, and that's a little tongue-in-cheek, because I think now with less pressure on the force main, with the deletion of MMPA, it's less likely that we'll have a break, but the breaks aren't necessarily caused by pressure, they're caused by degrading pipes and pressure. So, and of course, I'm very, very far from being a sewer expert, but I think it's a combination of those two things that have created breaks in recent years. So.
What percentage of the sewer was coming from them, going through there? Wasn't it didn't they pump a lot?
This is off the top of my head, but I think it's about 40% from MMPA and 60%.
Cut that pressure in half, it's not, it makes a huge difference. Yeah.
So have we got any applicants yet for it, or?
No, we sent out, that is, Cassandra sent out 47 letters with application in them and a request for people to send their resumes. So far, there hasn't been a response, but it was about middle of last week, so, I'm not sure whether that will capture any applicants. I certainly hope so. And how many will submit applications, et cetera. I have talked with John Moxie about our DPW doing some of the work, that is collecting samples for testing, and for someone to sign off on the procedures. We have a person in mind, but that so far that has not happened. But I think we're at least in a position to get through until there's a superintendent hired. After that, of course, we'll have to hire at least one full-time and one part-time operator, but I intend to foist that job off on the superintendent, so.
Okay. Any more comments on wastewater treatment plant update?
Turn basement.
Yeah, we got- Yeah, that Jimmy had.
I get the floor. Like I said, last time I would bring a brief summary of what we have. So I just put a few things down. One, this was the, kind of the cost breakdown for building, site work, and all the professional services that.
Can you give those gentlemen in the back a couple?
Oh.
They're our fire people.
So these numbers here, and there's a real rough sketch plan, we call it a concept plan, for the site and also the building. There's a study done a number of years back, what was that, two and a half years back, where gathered some information to get an idea of what was the facility kind of size-wise and what's gonna go in. So by no means, when you look at this drawing, it looks like, oh, well, we could just start building. These are just pencils on paper. We have not gone through and done any of the real hard breakdown. So what we did was by taking that, kind of the questionnaire, the study, putting together on a piece of paper what the site looks like, what the building might look like. We put together a rough estimate, and that estimate for the loan, the USDA loan, is basically a number that we want to put in to be pre-approved. So the number that we have is just a number that is based on square footage, general knowledge, and that, and obviously taken at a higher level because they're going to be pre-approved for that amount. Now, once, the next step would be to actually dig in, start doing the schematic design and concept, how the program works, working with the fire department to know what they want, working with our architect to lay it all out. And then during that process, we end up with the drawings, the contract documents to be able to put a real number on it, which would be for the loan application. So I got myself, I think I got a little bit ahead of the game last time when I was here, that we were saying we were going for the USDA loan right away. And, you know, which kind of probably made me think like the 3.5 is the real number. No, just like when you're gonna go buy a house, you know, they need to know, USDA needs to know, what level are you looking for? And that's where the cost estimate came in. The next step is really digging in, like I said, working with the fire department, our architect. We've got a fire department expert that will make it all work, figure out the areas needed, and then get down, design the building, and put the real cost to it. Then, once we're at that point, as I was saying at the last meeting, we would be going for the bond approval in November. Ideally getting the USDA funding announcement in December, finish up the architectural and construction plans, advertise for bid in March, and start construction in July. But there's a long way to get there and a lot of work, communication, and all that kind of stuff to get to that point.
So is this a basic drawing of what we're looking at?
That is a hypothetical drawing of what you're looking
How
at.
many fire trucks do we have?
7.
We have 7 active fire trucks. Where do you put them? Because that building holds 7 active fire trucks.
pictures of
I'll stop looking at you.
I don't wanna speak out of turn, I don't wanna speak for Chief Hayden, but what I can tell you is he has some very definite ideas for alterations to these plans, and like you said, they're not final plans, they're just a rendering, or,
It was a rendering of
possible, so.
kind of what we initially, based on, 4 bays, 7, 8 trucks, rough square footage, number of people, lockers, and all this geometry is going to change. So what you're seeing here, building configuration as a rectangle, probably be pretty close to that. Lines inside there where the desks and doors and entryways, that's all gonna change. This was merely for, like I said, getting an idea to apply for the pre-approval. You gotta start with something. That's where we started.
So how many of these rooms do we currently have?
On this drawing,
No, the building that we're using now.
We have 3 offices and a meeting room right now, and then the meeting room has the kitchen part in it. And I mean, when I say kitchen, it's a commercial layout, because we do our fundraisers there. It's not a regular basic kitchen like you would put in a normal. And then we have 6 bays, and we cram 2 trucks into 1 bay.
But you have
Like we have the showers and our lockers are in our truck bays, which are not allowed anymore. They have to be a separate room, so we do have to have the PPE room. But we do have a shower, we do have, the bathrooms and things like that.
You have a decontamination room and
We
disinfectant.
use the shower, which is not supposed to be done that way, because they don't want the contaminants where the people shower, so that would be 2 separate areas.
Understood.
What is the day room? What's the day room?
The day room, it's, well, you guys, it's a relaxing room, it's there's a kitchenette in there, so they could have, lunch, and there's more than likely be a TV in there, so. when the guys are there, they can- Place to relax.
So I remember last meeting, we were talking about, was there any potential to move it up to 26? And this is all estimating on 27 now, again?
The numbers are probably, the inflation is set for 27 just in case. Once again, you don't wanna go to USDA and say, oops, can we go higher? You don't like that.
But we are going for 2026, correct?
Yes. Does this help to clear up a lot of the,
Well,
that was up in the air, or?
yeah, I think so for me. It still just seems like an awful big price tag, but I get it. What do we do with the old, it might be not the time for this, but what do we do with all like their commercial, does that go to the new place, or
I'm sorry,
their commercial like kitchenette stuff, or is this?
Well, it's laid out like a commercial. It was built out of regular materials. We've made it work, we made,
It all
there
needs
were
to
some
go,
things
though?
we had to have for the health department, so we made the space work.
Okay.
So, it's not, it would not be able to go to a new building, because there, when you build a new building, you have to have stainless and all the other stuff like that, which we don't. But the majority of the equipment that we have would transfer. Our cascade system quit working 3 months, 4 months ago, and it's dead. But if we bought it used, 11 years ago, and we got our money out of it. So we would need a new cascade system. The generator we bought used, it's not gonna meet the new specs, so that would need to be replaced. So there are some things that we need to do, but a day room, I don't need, we have a meeting room, that, a room there where they have, open office, that's gonna be a meeting room. Because we have the offices, we don't have staff that are there all the time. We have the guys during the daytime, and right now they sit in the meeting room, they sit at the desk, do the reports, do stuff on the computer. We don't need all that, but as a general starting point, that's what they have laid out. So there's a lot of changes I wanna make to this, but there's a lot of the stuff that we're going to need. So, do I think it's gonna cost all of this? No, but I don't know where to tell you. But like he said, we need a high number, because we don't wanna go back and say, oops, we missed. Because they don't generally go like that.
I think that is the critical point is, once we put a number in the pre-application, we can't exceed that number. It's gotta be that number or less that we borrow.
I totally agree with that. I understand what you're saying, but it seems like every time we say, we're gonna borrow this much and hopefully we won't spend it all, we do spend it all. And it's just, to me, it's pretty fancy for our little town with a volunteer fire department. I think we need to do something. I think the fire department we have is inadequate, but just $3.5 million more. It's a lot, it's a lot of money. Well, look, I'm married, I always go to the high number. So, that's, like I said, I think we need to do something, and I just hate to see that much money spent on it.
Well, my thing is, and I don't know what the next step is, but we need to move to the next step, because I have the exact same paper he gave you, dated 6/17/24, and it's less money. So the longer we keep putting this off, the more it goes up.
We weren't asked to vote on this last time.
That's what I'm saying, the last time I dealt with this, I think Bobby was here, and we were working on this, and Bobby was dealing with the other people.
And it's been brought up numerous times, and there's always, oh, we're gonna do this, we're delayed for this, we're not, I don't think the council's holding it up.
And I'm not saying you guys are, I just mean, we need to move forward with this,
I agree.
because it's not gonna get any cheaper.
No,
That's
I
what
don't,
we discussed at last meeting, we wanna do it as soon as possible, we don't wanna wait till 2027. Plus, we don't wanna put any more money into the station that we have now.
No.
So the longer we wait, the more expensive it's gonna be, and the more money we're gonna have to put in the one that we have now.
Realistically, I don't see the construction beginning before fall of '26, but it will still be '26. If I'm overestimating that,
July?
might say so, but I think at very earliest, late summer or fall of '26, that construction will begin. So whatever the inflation rate rises to at that point, that's what we're looking at. And again, bear in mind, the chief says the schematic here is overstated, that he doesn't think that some of this equipment and so forth is required, so. And he's the one who's spoken the loudest about that, so I take him at his word.
Oh, I agree with that, we have to have what's necessary for this fire department to do their jobs correctly and safely, and meet all the requirements that the state or federal has. I mean, there's no doubt about that at all.
we just need to be able to explain to people why there's a big shiny new building down there, and the water bills have tripled. That's all I'm worried about.
I can tell you from the start, that's what I'd hope for, is like a complex for the police and fire department, but that
Oh,
all,
we're just getting rid of that day room, and there's room right there for 2 police officers.
that was all winnowed away pretty quickly when I saw it.
Chief only needs one office, you don't need an assistant office. I think a police office. You only got 7 trucks, right? There's a whole open day, we could build some offices there.
Only 7 days.
Well, there's 7 spots, but there's 8.
At
Yeah,
that, at that rolling desk so they can move out of the way when the
Yeah, I
truck comes in. Roll it back.
Will you get adequate flow to like fill your trucks there on a normal city main, or
We generally fill them at a hydrant, because if I don't, she bills me for them.
And I'll cut his water right off.
I think you need to ask permission before you cut his water.
Do you fill them
Seriously, we
water?
usually go down, we'll go down to DPW there, the closest water, the hydrant to the well, or to the tower, because if we fill it not during a fire out here, everybody's water turns brown. So we go as close to the tower as possible to less, for less disruption.
Stagnant shot.
Do you consider putting a well in at the new fire station?
I would love to do that. for
So,
the trucks.
I mean, that way you could just fill it at the site,
Mhm.
get rid of an office and do that. I mean, that, to me, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree.
And look, I want you to have your fire station. I just want to be able to explain to people why it costs so much.
Every time we have something down there, they say, why are you guys still here?
Yeah,
They're
and,
asking us.
and every time I see somebody, man, why is my water bill so high?
Yeah, I know,
I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
but they still like us right now.
All right. Everybody likes you when they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Fire.
But it's my, I mean, it's not technically my taxes, but it is. I'm a taxpayer, and I'm not gonna, I don't need I mean, the very first one they sent was the police, the complex and everything. It had lobbies in it, it had all this other stuff for reception, we don't need all that. We need someplace to park the trucks and do reports.
Well, there's a few more things in here than that, but yeah, I agree.
Well, there's, like the day room, that's not gonna be there. We don't need a day room, they can sit chairs just like they do now.
Is that gonna make the building smaller? Or you just won't use that area for that?
We won't use that area for that.
There you go, chief, right there.
Yeah. You combine.
Put that day room in there, put a wall up.
I have a question on the bottom where it says professional fees and administrative costs.
Yes.
You have the professional architectural / design, engineer design, $196,000, and down below it's architect / engineer construction. So what's the difference between the design and the construction? That's actually at the construction site, or?
Yes. You have a design up to a bidding portion, and then when the contractor is selected, and then we assist in construction oversight or answering questions on plans and essentially taking all sorts of different things.
So how does that work with your contractor 3 bids? Do you guys just choose? Do you and Mark kind of talk about it, or how do you choose which company you pick? We do?
It's a long drawn out process. You send out requests for bids, requests for proposals.
We got ways to get there, so.
Unfortunately, the last couple of times we did that, we only had, well, for the sewer treatment plant, one respondent. The more recent, I can't remember what it was, but there were two people, two companies that responded.
You still planning on fundraising events being held at the fire station, like the old location? Fish fry?
Yes, at there, but the new building has to be laid out different to the health department standards and to all the other standards, because we can't, right now, all of our gear and everything's out front, which is fine, you can have it in the truck bays, but you can't have the food coming through like we're doing now. It has to be done differently, which this kitchen is laid out right. So, there's a few things we have to do different now, because we're building, we have to go to current code. They kind of look the other way at this building because the building's already there. I don't know if you've been to White Pigeon's fire station or not, but the way theirs is laid out, where the kitchen's an inside, you know, you can still have the seating out where the trucks are, but the food has to be away from the exhaust.
Their building was 600,000. Their fire station was 600,000.
How long ago?
2,000, probably 2,000.
Massive inflation.
Any more comments, questions, or anyone? Any trustee questions, comments?
Let's just get it done.
Sooner the better. Thank you, Mike.
We'll get with you on next phase, and then we can start talking. I've got the scope all written out, I just need to do that.
Thanks for the information, Mike.
Yep.
Okay, new business. Page 27, a road closure request.
I think that the memo is fairly clear. The second annual Oktoberfest will happen on Saturday, October the 4th. And many of the activities will be on Eastwater in the first block. In other words, Eastwater between Washington and White Pigeon Street. So the committee is asking your permission to close the first block of Eastwater between South Washington and White Pigeon Street from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. that day. And part and parcel of that, I will be notifying MMPA and probably by extension Dairy Distillery, just to let them know in advance that the road will be annexed, assuming you approve the road closure.
I'll make a motion to close the road for the Oktoberfest.
Okay, motion by trustee King, supported by trustee Paper to close the road as indicated on page 27 there for the Oktoberfest. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving to page 28, zoning variance public hearing request.
First of all, I'll tell you that the planning commission, when they met last Wednesday, recommended, or chose to recommend that these variances be approved, but in order to even do that, there has to be a public hearing. I guess what I'm asking is for your permission to post public hearing notice in this Friday's edition of the commercial news. It has to be 15 days, at least 15 days in advance of the public hearing itself. So I expect that at the meeting on, I'm trying to remember what the date is. Okay.
August 19th.
All right.
August 19th, does that sound right?
So it says on here.
Yeah, it'll be in the July 25th edition of the commercial news. And the date for the public hearing will be set for August the 19th. I'll explain this a little bit further, but it is in the memo you got. The Habitat for Humanity would like to build a house on the property at 160 East 3rd. And you recall that's a house that burned down several years ago. And the lot, frankly, is too small to conform to our zoning code. But this council, or those who were on the council back then, agreed that the village acquired the property and would promote building a house on the property. Again, it violates the zoning code, but it's for Habitat for Humanity. And I think everybody agrees that they're a very worthwhile organization. Now, the other one is a parcel in the 200 block of Orchard Street. It's a single parcel, but it's much larger than the ordinance requires for an area for a house. The only thing it would lack is 80 feet of frontage. If the lot were split in two, there would only be 65 feet of frontage on each of them. But again, I think it's very viable. The lot is easily large enough, more than 7,500 feet. I think the remaining parcels would be about 10,000 feet. So the only thing it lacks is the road frontage, but the planning commission agrees that this is worth your looking at, so.
it's advantageous not only to the Habitat for Humanity, but for the village,
Yes,
the contractor, and of course, the people that are gonna get the homes.
yeah.
So they're gonna build two houses on Orchard Street?
Two houses on one parcel.
Right, right,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna split it.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. All right,
And these people appear to be really easy to work with.
Yeah.
I have a question.
And that frankly is three houses that will be, providing revenue for the village too.
Kathy?
For some reason, I thought a while ago, maybe when this house burned down on Third Street, that it wasn't able to build on it because it was filled in with a construction or something. It wasn't buildable, I thought.
No, if by not buildable, you mean, by not buildable, you mean because it lacks size?
No, because when it was burned, it just got filled into the hole.
I don't think it did, and I don't know that for sure, and that did happen on, Fourth Street. But I don't think that happened on,
I don't think it did on Third.
but that's, honestly, that's gonna be Habitat's worry if they do purchase that lot, so.
I think that did happen at the lot that the funeral home owns.
Yes, yeah,
That's what happened, the house caved in or something.
well, they just filled it.
They just
Yeah,
filled in. I was thinking they did that for that one also.
That might be the one you're thinking of. Oh, and one more caveat, and this was not discussed at the meeting. I would just as soon donate that lot to Habitat. It makes it more affordable for them, there's no loss for the village. So, I mean, we paid little or nothing for that parcel, so, but that's a matter for a different day.
It's not doing us any good.
That's not, no.
Do we need a motion?
Tonight, I think Mark is asking for a motion that we have the zoning board hearing related.
public hearing.
Public hearing, thank you. At our next meeting, or well, on August 19th.
I believe it's the 13th. I believe it's the 13th.
August 13th, though?
I believe it is.
Yeah, that's,
The fourth is on Monday.
So it'll be 7 more days.
Monday to Thursday.
That's better yet.
13th is a Wednesday.
No, we're looking for a public hearing for the council.
yeah, public hearing is August 19th.
Did you make a motion, Kathy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll second it.
August 19th, wait, I don't remember, hang on. August 19th is a Tuesday.
Is it? That's your fault.
Oh, there you go.
He'd say you're fired, but you can't do that. Come on, buddy.
That would be the 18th.
No, she's not, and I'll shoot anybody who tries to.
18th, right? Is
I'm
Monday.
sorry.
18th is Monday.
Okay,
I believe it's the 13th. Is it Monday? 13th is a
sorry
Wednesday.
about that.
There's a planning meeting on Wednesday, the 13th.
Yeah, 18th is the Monday.
18th is a Monday.
We usually don't have
Yeah,
a
Wednesday
meeting.
is council meeting, so.
This will be the zoning board of appeals. So that would be the zoning board of appeals.
No, this would be a public hearing, for you, because you're the ones who have the authority to, for the ZBA, because you're the ones who have the authority to grant it.
Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor, by trustee Piper, seconded by trustee Lawrence, that we hold a public hearing on August the 18th to consider the zoning variance application before us tonight. Any comments? Would you call roll on that, please?
King,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Gary Mathers,
Yes.
Myra Mathers,
Yes.
Piper,
Yes.
Denman,
Yes.
Steers.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. And I believe that is all our meetings.
I have a question.
Huh?
Did we find out
How about stop signs? Are we allowed to do that?
I don't know,
So I am working on it, I've been putting feelers out, reaching out, not getting answers back, you're not gonna believe this, but state employees work at home. So, what I have found so far though, everything says that you have that right, you can enact the ordinance.
I assume that, but, I mean, the state only gets involved in setting speed limits, as far as I know.
That's all I'm finding too, yeah.
But they don't actually get involved, they have the formula they would have to follow.
You keep working on that then? I guess, or is that the guidelines, or?
I expect answers back someday if state employees go back to work, but
I say we just do it, and then if they say something, we change it.
Right.
Except if it's not allowed to be, then we couldn't enforce people who disobey. So, like I said, I'm 90+% certain that it's okay, but I'd rather learn the easy way than the hard way.
Right.
So,
Well, you can't have my stop sign, cause I gotta start using that next month.
well, yours still has the bullseye on it though, so that wouldn't be.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Any other comments for tonight? Kathy?
Is our information on this big packet of paper?
That's not a part of the packet, that's just.
It's just for us to review.
Okay. Any further meeting ideas, and we will adjourn our meeting.